Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hobart begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, the Premier has confirmed MP Sue Hickey will not be endorsed by the Liberal Party ahead of the next state election. For more, our reporter Meg Sides joins us now live from Parliament House. Meg, what do we know about the situation so far?
Good evening, Louise. Well, Sue Hickey has often been referred to as the rogue speaker. In 2018, she shocked the party when she was elected Speaker of the lower house over their preferred candidate, Reid Hitting. Her relationship with the Liberal Party has been tense since, and she has repeatedly voted against the government on issues including the transgender law reforms. The Clark MP also threatened to leave the Liberal Party and become an independent in 2019 after she was overlooked in a cabinet reshuffle by the then Premier Will Hodgman. Premier Peter Gutwein today met with Sue Hickey to discuss pre-selection, where he informed her there isn't support across the wider party for her endorsement, a view which he shares. Sue Hickey has hit out at the Liberal Party today, saying she has essentially been sacked, and that it's disappointing the party could not accommodate strong women of independent thought and initiative. And Louise, she is expected to speak with the media tomorrow to provide an update on her plans with the future, but has indicated that she intends to stay within the Parliament.
All right, thank you for that. Meg Sides reporting for us there. Labor has written to the government ahead of debate on controversial anti-protest laws in the upper house this week. MP Shane Broad has called for a bipartisan approach, making 2 proposals for the new laws.
Harvesting safety zones in our forests and an aggravated trespass charge. Now, what this will do, it will actually target the actions of the protesters, not the protests themselves.
The legislation that's been proposed and will go to the Parliament next week will not work.
The state government says the laws are important and have called on Labor to change its stance. 6 organisations, including TASCOS and Civil Liberties Australia, have written to the legislative councillors asking them to vote against the laws. A man from Hobart's northern suburbs has been charged in relation to an alleged aggravated robbery in Kempton early yesterday morning. Police say the owners, a 74-year-old man and his 60-year-old wife, were restrained and forced to hand over cash in their home, which were takings from the post office next door. The 37-year-old is set to face Hobart Magistrates Court tonight. A second man is still wanted by police. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. It's been 1 year since life-changing lockdowns and border closures were implemented in Tasmania during the height of the pandemic, and businesses are still struggling to get back on their feet. Hospitality and hotel operators once again renewing their calls for restrictions to be eased as visitors flock back to the state.
Today, 1 year ago, Tasmanians were grappling with this shock announcement.
Any Tasmanian can still come home, but if they come home after midnight on Friday, they will need to go into a 2-week quarantine.
The state closed off as COVID-19 cases surged across the country. 3 days later, hospitality businesses and venues were forced to shut amid tough new restrictions.
I mean, it was pretty savage. We have 8 venues in the city, and so on the Monday where we were mandated to close, we actually had to let about 70 employees go.
Businesses able to operate under strict measures from May, the borders then reopening to most of the country in October. Struggling owners now seeing waves of customers come and go.
Even now, you know, we're finding 1 or 2 of our venues are extremely busy, yet others are quiet. So, yeah, it's different.
Some are doing really well and some are still really struggling, so there's still a lot of help that we've got to provide to those businesses. Some great things that are happening out there with the New Zealand flight announcements and the cheap flight announcements, but while we've still got the restrictions on venues of the 1 in 2 square metres and stuff, venues can't get back to their full capacities.
Similar calls on restrictions coming from hotel operators, saying business travellers are avoiding Tasmania out of fear of new cases back on the mainland.
Being able to come together for conferences, for meetings, for events is really important. So any ways that the Commonwealth and state governments can provide incentives for that to happen, but also importantly to gently ease restrictions so that those events can be viable again.
The more recent outbreaks at land, the Tasmanian response to those has been much more targeted around the hotspots rather than the whole state itself. So I believe that people should feel very confident to make their travel plans, and they are.
Rooms are, however, being booked up by locals and plenty of interstate tourists returning to the state.
People want to come here and if they feel comfortable to travel again, which they're starting to, then Tasmania will get a strong share of bookings. We're already seeing that in our business, and I know other accommodation properties are as well.
Ruby COMMANE, 7 Tasmania News.
House prices around the country are continuing to soar post-COVID, and Tasmania is no exception. Real estate agents say they're seeing a daily increase in prices, making it difficult for those looking to buy a home.
It's a unique way to draw attention to a house on the market.
Welcome to 19 Aberdeen Street, Glebe.
The Castle actor Michael Caton voicing this video as real estate agents go above and beyond to secure clients.
We've gone a little bit outside the square. At the moment, as you'd be aware, you can put a house online and probably sell it pre the open home, but this vendor really wanted to go through the full process, let the house soak into the market.
In Tassie, things move at a slower pace down here.
Not moving at a slow pace is Tasmania's property market. Buyers flocking to open homes.
I'm amazed, just in particularly the last 6 months, how property prices have increased.
A stark contrast to the 30% downturn predicted at the start of the pandemic.
As soon as our restrictions lifted a little bit within the state in July, we were really busy, and it's just been accelerating since then, and particularly the last 6 to 8 weeks, it's been a daily change to prices.
The real estate agents are doing all their due diligence. They're looking at what will dictate the property to sell for, and properties are quite regularly selling for $100,000 above that, that's unprecedented.
The Real Estate Institute of Tasmania says the boom is happening right across the state. 80% are being sold to Tasmanians, the rest to interstate buyers looking for a sea change after COVID.
There's not a lot of properties to sell. Real estate agents out there, they're climbing over the top of each other to list property, so it's very difficult for them.
Also difficult for buyers, with some houses still being snapped up within a day. And it doesn't appear the market will be slowing down anytime soon. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
Barnbougle has another club in its bag, with the golf complex unveiling its new Bougle Run course. Tourism Tasmania launching its new golf campaign targeting adventurous travellers.
The latest world-class addition to the Barnbougle golfing mecca, Bougle Run.
So far the reviews from those who've seen it are magnificent, so we think we've managed to be ready at the right time.
A 14-hole shorter course made nearly entirely of par 3s. It's designed to expand their offerings, with time often a factor for those who want to play here.
Probably 2 hours playing time, 2.5 hours playing time, so it just fills in a slot. This one just tries to finish the product off. So it's really from what we think the demand will be, especially time-wise.
More than 300 golfers visited the Barnbougle Dunes and Lost Farm courses today. Golfers have long flown from around Australia and the world for a taste of Barnbougle's greens. That's a market the entire state is now chasing, with Tourism Tasmania's Unordinary Adventures campaign.
What we know is golfers love a great competition. They love taking on the best courses in the world. They love taking on their mates.
Tourism Tas say those passionate about their hobbies are willing to travel, stay longer and spend more. It's hoped that taking a swing at markets like golfers can underpin our tourism industry.
Golfers are incredibly passionate, as are mountain bikers and walkers and fly fishers. So that's why, on top of our normal brand work, we really reach in and talk to these customers directly.
The new course is scheduled to open in early April. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The first Freedom of Entry parade in Launceston for 19 years has been held today. Army, Air Force and Navy cadets marched through the city streets in the tradition which dates back to medieval ages. Police stopped the cadets at the Brisbane Street Mall for a ceremonial entry to the city, being greeted by the Mayor on their way before continuing to the barracks. Cyclists have taken to the roads using pedal power to raise money for Tasmanians living with a disability. More than 200 people took part in the 15th annual Western Tiers ride after last year's event was cancelled. The New Horizons Club, who organises the ride, uses funds to provide recreational and social opportunities for people living with disabilities. Rowing Australia's national championships kick off tomorrow and the nation's best are gathering here in Tasmania for the event. Lake Barrington will host the week-long competition, having received a facelift before rowers hit the water.
Henry Yule has been to Rowing Australia's nationals 7 times. This will be his first time racing at the championships in front of a home crowd.
It's just the same as a normal regatta here, but on a larger scale, so it'd be nice to be able to come home every night to my own bed and everything, but I don't think it changes that much.
The Open men's singles final is squarely in his sights.
I'd be really happy with that just to get there. The National Training Centre, both men and women are down here competing, so it'd be pretty good to compete against high elite level athletes that are training for Tokyo.
Tasmania is hosting the event for the first time since 2009. The state's rowing community proud to be in the spotlight for the next week.
Everywhere from like the volunteers to rowing Tas to coaches to club level to school level, everyone's really excited that such a big event is finally here in Tasmania at Lake Barrington.
Preparing Lake Barrington has been a mammoth task for organisers.
2,000 boys on a course takes a long time to clean and replace.
An enormous workforce has been on site for the past week. They'll stay for the course of the event.
We'll have 35 volunteers living up there for Rowing Tasmania on permanent site 24 hours a day. And then, of course, they'll be supported by another 100 to 150 volunteers.
Much like the athletes competing, they're hoping the hard work pays off.
We want to give them the best there is, so they won't wait another 11 years to come back. They'll be back here a lot quicker.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian female farmers have broken ground in recent decades. The industry is beginning to see more generational farming, with daughters being involved in succession planning. Tonight, we share the story of a young woman who's following in her father's footsteps.
Meet Katie Lone.
Hey, I'm on vacation every single day because I love my occupation.
The 19-year-old is a fourth-generation farmer working on her family's 6,000-hectare property on the northwest coast.
Farming has been in my family for generations and generations, and it's not only that I'm meant to be here, but I really want to be here.
She recently began using popular social media video platform TikTok to share glimpses of her life.
So this afternoon we pulled a calf and he's a bit sore on his front leg, so we're going to try and get some colostrum into him.
Some of her videos have attracted more than 300,000 views.
Oh, I've had a lot of marriage proposals, yeah, it's quite funny. It's just a bit of fun and a bit of sharing what we do here on the farm. I think a lot of people can relate to what we do, and a lot of people are just from the other side of the world and have never seen anything like what we do before.
2 years ago, Katie spread her wings, leaving the family home in Latrobe and moving almost 4,000 kilometres north.
When I was 17, I told my parents I got a new job. When they asked where I was going, I told them I was going to the Northern Territory to work on a cattle station.
Reawakening her passion for life on the land.
I got over there and I absolutely loved the lifestyle over there, how isolated it was. I did a lot of boar runs and lick runs and obviously mustering on horses over there, so it was a whole different lifestyle to what we have here.
Now back on home soil, Katie's loving every minute. From cattle to cropping, she's learning the ropes from her dad.
Honestly, the best part about my job is working with my father. At the minute, he's handed over the management of the livestock to me. The next year I plan to put in a few of my own crops.
Of course you're proud, your life's work is going to be carried on, I suppose, so that's always very satisfying.
In a gritty yet rewarding industry.
It has to be a passion like that burns inside you, that's what you want to do, because I mean the hours are terrible, the pay's shocking, but the lifestyle's lovely.
Lana Patiglio from Tasmanian Women in Agriculture says the tide has turned in recent decades for female farmers.
Up until 1994, women weren't actually legally allowed to write farmer as their official career. It's only been the last 25, 26 years that we are able to do that. Up until that time, women were virtually invisible in the farming space.
While the industry has come a long way, challenges remain.
It's a very high rate of sexual harassment that happens, but there's lots going on in order to overcome those challenges and support women.
I don't think being a female is any barrier to being a farmer nowadays.
The more women in ag we can get, the better name we can get for ourselves, so we can do just as much as the men can.
LETITIA Wallace, 7 Tasmanian News.
Jackson Bird has produced an extraordinary day of cricket to swing Tasmania's Sheffield Shield clash with New South Wales. Tasmania resumed on day 2 with the match in the balance before Bird made a runnable innings of 57 before he then went to work with the ball, taking 7 wickets for only 17 runs. The Blues' total of 32 all out was the 4th lowest Shield total of all time. Bowled out for 191, the Tigers have set New South Wales a target of 492 for victory.
Everyone, 26 degrees was the high today at Cressy, 25 for Launceston, Devonport and Hobart, and 21 in Burnie. Bushy Park and Strahan 25, 23 at the Friendly Beaches, 22 on Flinders Island, also at Smithton and Lowhead, King Island and St Helens 21, 20 for Maria Island, the Harts Mountains 19 degrees and 16 at Lyowini. On the satellite, we see the low-level cloud that was about the north and east today, with some patchy higher-level cloud in the north. A low-pressure trough near the New South Wales coast, producing heavy rainfall about the east of that state today, the associated massive cloud extending down into Victoria. Tomorrow's chart shows a slow-moving high in the Tasman Sea and a trough running from the northwest of WA down to a developing low over New South Wales. Looking to coastal waters, east to northeasterly winds reaching 20 to 30 knots about the northwest with 3 metre seas. There is a strong wind warning from Sandy Cape to the northern tip of Flinders Island, and a road weather alert is issued for slippery roads in parts of the northwest coast, the central north, northeast and east coast districts. Tomorrow in Hobart, 25 degrees and partly cloudy, mostly sunny and 24 at Dover, and Ooze, partly cloudy, 26. A shower or 2 for Launceston, 23, and Scottsdale, 21. Devonport, showers, 22. Showers developing in Burnie, 21. Strahan, sunny, 25, and Stanley, a shower or 2, 22 degrees. St Helens and Swansea, 21, with a shower or 2, and a possible shower for Ross, 23. High UV tomorrow of 6, and we can expect to see the sun rising at 7:16 a.m. On Tuesday, showers about the north and east extending statewide during the afternoon. Wednesday, rain about the east, showers elsewhere, and showers contracting to the west and far south in the evening on Thursday. A mostly sunny day in Adelaide tomorrow, 29. Rain in Sydney, possibly heavy, 21. And a few showers, 24 degrees for Melbourne. Right now in Hobart, it's 19 and sunny. Launceston 21, partly cloudy. Devonport 19, partly cloudy. That's the weather forecast, Lou.
Beautiful, thanks Carmen, and that's your news for this Sunday evening. Thanks for joining us. Have a lovely evening. Good night.